Late Night with the Devil is a 2024 found footage horror film that was released on March 22nd, 2024. It is written, directed, and edited by Cameron and Colin Cairns. Now, it stars David Dastmalchian as the host of a 1970s talk show who on Halloween night invites a possessed girl onto the program in an attempt to boost ratings. Now, this movie is 93 minutes long, and let me tell you, this film keeps you engaged right from the opening credit scene. It takes place in the 1970s, the height of the 1970s, from 1970 to 1977. We get a backstory of David Dastmalchian's character, Jack Delroy, who hosts a late night talk show titled Night Owls with Jack Delroy. He is competing with Johnny Carson for ratings, and from 1971 to 1977, his ratings aren't as good. He's always right under Carson or really, really low, while Carson's 1 and 2. The Night Owls with Jack Delroy is kind of between 35 and 40 or 39 on that list. Now, in the show's 6th season in 1977 on Halloween night, October 31st, 1977, havoc breaks on the set of his late night talk show when Delroy interviews a parapsychologist and the subject of her recent book, a young teenager who was the sole survivor of a satanic church's mass suicide, who evidently is possessed by the devil, as well as bringing on a clairvoyant and a skeptic on the show. Not only that, Dr. June Ross Mitchell is the parapsychologist and the author who kind of helps the young teenage girl Lily get through her little episode that she has. You also have Christu, a psychic who has an interesting scene, and you have Carmichael the Conjurer, who is kind of a former magician turned skeptic, and you have Gus McConnell, who is kind of the Ed McMahon to Jack Delroy. Now, the story also shows how Jack Delroy's rise and fall has happened over the 6 years of this show. And basically, he got married and he found the love of his life, but the love of his life got cancer. But she didn't smoke, she didn't have any health problems, she just got cancer, and then she died. And all the while, this is weighing on him through the entire episode and this movie. And then we see things happen. Now we see Carmichael the Conjurer, kind of a skeptic, being like, hey, I have $100,000, let's bump it up to $500,000. I will pay you if you can prove that all this is real. Then you have Christu, the psychic, who is a really, really interesting character. But as for what we know with psychics and how they work with the television audience or for TV viewing audiences, we know how that works with certain aspects of what happens behind the scenes. And then you have Gus, who is a true believer in the craziness that is ensuing on the set. And Dr. June Ross Mitchell, who is kind of seeing an inner relationship with kind of Jack while things are going on. And Lily, the young teenage girl who was possessed, is really, really scary. More psychological, subtle images, subliminal images in this. If you miss it, it has that 1970s grainy look and feel to it, which is really, really good. Not only that, the episode is found footage, as the narration of this entire film is done by Michael Ironside, who you may know starred in Total Recall and played the lead role in Scanners. Now, we see the show going on, but that show is in color. And then when he says cut to commercial, or it says we'll be right back, we cut to a black and white, and we see the behind the scenes of what's going on while the TV viewing audience is watching with commercials, but we are seeing what's going on behind the scenes, and things are happening and whatnot. This is a very, very short movie, but it keeps you engaged to where you know kind of what's happening, but then you don't. There is a sequence where you're kind of being hypnotized by Carmichael the Conjurer, and then you're like, wait a minute. You're trying not to look at it, to not to get hypnotized, but then things happen. It's like, whoa. They're like, Jack Delroy's like, let's play the tape back. And whatever was happening, as you're watching it with Jack and then the viewing audience that's there watching everything unfold, you're like, did that really happen? It's like this movie plays tricks on you in a way where it's absolutely mind-blowing. And then seeing Lily possessed also really good. There are a lot of good practical effects in this that I really, really enjoyed as well. And the whole cohesion of the aspect of what's going on. It has that 1970s pop culture feel to it. It just kind of explains what's going on in the 1970s with little clips of the Vietnam War, snippets, Richard Nixon, the gas prices, the inflation, what was going on during that time up until everything. At the end, we do realize what Jack Delroy did to himself, and explains how all of this came about and what came to be and why he feels so guilty for certain things that he did. Not only that, Lily, or the Mr. Wriggles, I believe is the demon name in this, is really, really scary. You think the possession aspect of it is, really weird, but in this world, it's 1977 and The Exorcist came out in 1973. So they're 4 years removed from that film. There's a nice Easter egg and a nice touch to The Exorcist. Not only that, there's a nice homage to the ending of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch in this, when Tom Atkins' character in the end of that movie is saying, turn it off, turn it off. In a way, Jack Delroy in this also does that too in a scene, and it's really, really good, really, really cohesive, really fun. I went into this by seeing one teaser trailer because I felt like I'm going to go see this. I want to know what it's about. And I didn't watch all the 2 or 3 or 4 trailers that came after the teaser trailer. I was like, oh, Late Night with the Devil, a found footage horror talk show. That's original, that's different, and it's new. Yes, I'll see it. And David Dastmalchian's in it? Of course I'll see it, because he's the new face of horror right now for this generation. This movie was fun. I mean, seeing the aspects of what happens behind the scenes when they're on commercial break. Does that really happen? Who knows? And then seeing the skeptic trying to be like, no, this is what happened, this is how it's going on. It's just really, really interesting. And like I said, David Dastmalchian is the horror actor for this generation. The 70s look, grainy feel to it was exceptional. There are some interesting moments in this and characteristics of what Jack Delroy would do just to boost ratings. And you see his producer telling him every time after a segment that the company called, they want to do this, things are great, blah, blah, blah. And kind of he signs his life over to the fictional news organization or the company UBC. So it's really, really fun. It's great. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, this was a blast. If you like indie found footage horror films, check this out. I feel like in about a couple years to 5 years, maybe 10 years time, this will gain a cult following and people will really, really enjoy it. The acting is great. The story is really well done. It's easy to follow and it explains everything at the end of it. For me, Late Night with the Devil gets 5 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Late Night with the Devil. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the movie, the storytelling, the acting, the writing? Do you like how everything was in color when you're watching it and the behind the scenes was black and white? Do you think that the skeptic was onto something? Who was the strongest character? Who was the weakest character? And do you think that this film wrapped everything up neatly in the end? And do you think that we'll see more found footage films like this pertaining to late night television in different ways, in different forms? And do you think David Dastmalchian is a good actor in horror? And what is your favorite movie from him? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new review videos on my channel. I'll see you all in the next review video. I'm Mr. Filmstock, and thank you so much for tuning in.